And welcome back to the hottest marriage show on the street. It's John D, aka Too Much, and my wife,
Kanika,
better known as Do, and we are doing Too Much Podcast. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. You?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Life is grand, to say the least. Recently, somebody asked me if I was happy because they felt like I showed some discern in my face, like I was trying to present a different state of life. And what that means is they thought that something was really bothering me. And I'm like, I'm the happiest I've ever been. But I do have some challenges that I'm working on that have been taken over, but not overall. I feel the same as far as happiness. I'm above whatever levels that I've ever been. And I'm just looking forward to the challenges to improving in those areas so that my family could become a better place to be. So what's going on? What's on your brain?
So recently I went to the doctor for my annual, and there are some genetic predispositions that I have from my family in regards to my health. And I've known about this in regards to my heart health. I'm going to say that. And so my physician and I have been working on this where I'm like, just give me a little bit more time. Let me work on this, and this, and I think it'll improve. I don't want to use a pill. It got to a point where she was like, look, we've seen each other 3 times and it's not helping. She was like, can we now begin to consider even a small prescription to see what's going to happen? And I was like, yes, because I'm coming up in age. I'm realizing that. So started taking a pill. Things are improving. But all my other labs looked good.
What are you taking a pill for? I don't know.
Oh, blood pressure. I'm sorry. So it's for my blood pressure. But everything else is looking good. And so it made me think about the impact of my health and how I exercise autonomy about how I treat my body, even though I know good and well that there's a history of stroke in my family. And I want to know, I guess I want to discuss, like, how much do I owe to my partner in maintaining my health? Because, no one, I'm thinking about, it's funny because some people be like, you watch My 600-Pound Life and they always got a man. Like, why are they out? And it's funny to me because it's like there are people who are sick, sickly, having multiple diagnoses, and it's not because they genetically just got it. They may have had a predisposition where it could happen to them, but if they manage their health better, it would not be a concern. And so I have my best friend, she works out crazy, and she says that whoever she's going to be with, they're going to work out too because they need to stay healthy. And then I look at other people who they get heavy and unhealthy all through their life together. And then I was thinking about you and I and how you just like flip the script. Not that you were ever really unhealthy about what you do, not, you weren't overindulging in anything in particular as far as your diet. But when you changed it, I really did push back because I was like, he's not going to change everything. Like, I'll do a little bit, but you're not going to start telling me I need to do this, this, and this just because you are. But as my husband, I kind of owe it to you because if I get sick, who's going to take care of me? You know what I'm saying? Who wants to take care of? I mean, I know you love someone. And so if they get sick, you're going to take care of them. But how does it feel if you are neglecting yourself and knowing you're neglecting yourself and not doing the things you need to do and knowing that you're putting yourself on the fast track of being sickly or disabled or whatever, and then just expecting your spouse to be okay with taking care of you for the rest of your life. Like, is that, not to say that somebody has to stay 135 pounds for the entire marriage, but should there be a discussion about the expectation of you maintaining your health?
Well, we had that conversation in the beginning. I told you.
Yeah, John, but I'm saying that's not right to say, look, I need you to stay this weight.
I didn't say that. I said, you cannot get fat and let yourself go to waste if I am working on myself to make sure. I said, you said, John, is supposed to be unconditional. I said, I'm conditionally telling you that because in my head, I know that wasn't the right language, but it was the truth, though.
Well, that's why I'm saying it's not to say you can't be more than 140 pounds. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, is that something that should be more of a discussion, someone's responsibility for their health if you're marrying me?
Definitely. And I know it's not important at the time because typically everybody's like where they want to be. They're ideally where they want to be. But listening to you, I've had this conversation with myself, like, don't let her frustrate you because she doesn't see or she hasn't voiced how important it is yet. Like, if you just keep doing it, she'll figure it out. And I've like watched you. I told you I've seen your body change. I don't know if the weight has changed, but I've seen the shape of your body change. And you walk just as much as I do. You've increased your water. I've watched you even eat. There are certain times where I feel like you shouldn't be eating late at night, close to going to sleep. But other than that, I feel like you are on the track of getting where you need to be. And I believe your blood pressure is not really related to your food. I think it's just you overall getting to know yourself. And maybe you're not where you think you should be at this point. Now, this is just my opinion because I've been watching the way you cook. Like your meals, like you'll go through when your time to cook, you won't even cook meat. You won't have bread. It'll be vegetables. It'll be food that's really good. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like you have consciously made a decision to support the family because you see Day and Dallas are somewhat on board. And I feel like you've already adapted the new process. So as far as me playing a significant role, yeah, I feel like I've already been doing it. I mean, it's just, you'll figure it out when you figure it out. And I'm going to be there. That's why I said I want to always be your compliment. And I don't want you to like I don't want you to ever think that I'm not trying. Mm-hmm. Like, I just know that the way that I used to try I didn't get the best results.
Yeah.
So in order for me to be the husband, the supportive husband, I have to figure out how to say it where you can receive the message, or I have to just go on your time scale. Mm-hmm. And just do the best I can until we come together and be like, oh. So that's the way that I've been looking at it. Like, I don't know if you noticed, like, a lot of the things that I used to bother you about, I don't mention anymore.
Yeah, I know.
And the reason why I did that, because I felt like I would lead by example. I would just keep doing it, and then maybe something to come up where we'll discuss it, where you'll have to accept accountability within yourself. The things that you don't say out loud, mm-hmm. Like, I guess I could be doing that better. So that's what I'm basing everything off on. Like, if she sees it enough, she's going to talk to herself. Mm-hmm. And when she does it, we'll have a conversation like on this podcast right now, because I didn't expect to talk about this.
Because
so it's working.
I've been fighting that fight.
But I'm saying it's working because I said, like, at some point we're going to have a conversation about what she's doing and what she's not doing. Like, every once in a while I throw in there, I'm like, if medication is cool, but, like I was trying to tell you, like, I saw the doctor say some of this medication isn't good for people. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to get you to know, like, if you get to the point where you're not taking medication, it's because you're doing everything right.
Yeah.
Or you're getting closer to it. So it was like, I would say things like that, not saying you shouldn't take it because I know that it's helping. Mm-hmm. But yes, I believe that your partner should understand the language of their partner so that they don't get discouraged when it doesn't move as fast as they want.
Well, what is when you're making a decision that this is somebody that you want to be with, not even talking about you now, what does the conversation look like to explain? Because your conversation was, look, I seen your mama, so I know that you ain't supposed to get big when you get older. I was like, wait.
My dad said that. Don't trip. They look at their mama.
They'll tell you. And so, what's funny though is you gotta look at both sides of the family. Because do I look like Grandma Ola?
No, you don't. She's not even big.
Look, so what I'm saying is, so what's the conversation look like rather than saying, look, you can't be getting fat. It's more than just that.
Yeah.
So
in order for us to move any forward in this relationship, I need to know how you look at your health, because if I'm going to be with you and they say to death do us part, I want us to have the best life throughout the entire process. And I know it's not going to be the best and it's going to be up and down, but I don't want to worry about health.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially when I can't monitor what you do when you're away from me. I expect you to do the right thing. And if you don't know how to do the right thing, we need to learn how to do the right thing so we can hold each other accountable.
I mean, and I think it's all about moderation. But I do think that there should be, just like you say is sickness and health, I think that there should still be a vow to care about your own health. Like, I don't want you to have to.
Who says sickness and health isn't caring about your own health?
Yes. Well, wait, and sickness and health till death do you part. Yeah. Well, in my head, when I thought about that vow, it was like,
no, I thought about that too.
Healthy,
but we're assuming.
But I'm saying, whether you're healthy or sick, I'm always going to be with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not saying my responsibility. Like, I have a responsibility to care about my health and make sure that I'm healthy, because you shouldn't have to. If it's within my power to not develop, let's say, like your dad developed diabetes at one point.
Which could have been avoided. It
could have been avoided. And he had an amputation, but the amputation had to be, they had to do another amputation because he continued to make decisions that made it difficult for his amputation to heal properly.
Good thing he was single.
Yes.
Because he would have drove somebody crazy.
He would have. Well, he did his sister, though. So I think that, so in that case, there were decisions that he made consistently that led to this illness, that also led to an amputation, that also led to him becoming disabled. And whoever he would have been with, from going from a man who worked three jobs to working not at all, and being like, he was managing a whole family to the best of his ability, to going to being someone where he needed people to help him do most anything. It's like, imagine just recklessly making decisions about how you eat, how you drink, how you live, and be like, I love you, John, but whatever happens, dude. So, if I end up with a stroke and
I felt that way at one time too, but I didn't go as in depth as you just talked about, like these other things that you don't think about that could happen to you.
Right.
Because I said I was going to drink for the rest of my life. I was like, if the doctor said, John, you probably shouldn't drink, I'm like, I've been doing this. This is just me. I remember saying those things out loud. And I was like, that was so selfish. Because if I would have continued, I mean, I'm blessed that nothing to this point has happened or whatnot, but if I would have continued to drink like I was, there's nothing beneficial my body would have gotten, and you would have been responsible for that. And just where you are in life, that would have been completely selfish, because you have things that you have to worry about in your own health. So in the beginning of the relationship, it just has to be approached differently.
But I believe that, like you said, usually when people are together, their body is, it's like, you're healthy. I don't marry someone who's in a nursing home.
Where I gotta bring them back to life.
Yeah. So you think that you're with someone who is healthy. Okay, this is who I'm gonna grow old with. But in actuality, I'm on a roller coaster ride to a stroke, amputation, whatever the case may be. maybe my dad, when he had a stroke, he couldn't speak anymore.
Yeah.
And so his communication, it would require you to do so much more communicating for me. And so it hits different when you're like, you know, yeah, I'm gonna keep drinking. If I end up in a car accident because I'm drinking and I'm a paraplegic and John got to take care of me, I mean, you know, hand me that Long Island iced tea still. Like,
but do you understand why you have the
Yeah.
Long Island now? Because things have been removed that you didn't have any control, and you was like, they're not taking everything from me. I'm going to keep some
yeah,
piece.
and even so, it's like I could even say, we're going to Five Guys, and I'm going to get the sandwich where each piece of the bun is a grilled cheese sandwich. And if tonight I stroke out, then, you know, John do whatever. And I know it's not that simple. I know it's a culmination of many decisions that you will make. But when you're making these decisions and you're gaining weight and you know you're gaining weight, or it's more difficult for you to get up the stairs, you're winded, or, you know, your blood pressure goes so high that you start to get lightheaded, and you can tell. I have a friend who, she said, I can tell when my blood pressure is getting high. Look, the worst part is when you can't tell your blood pressure is getting high because it's always high, and that's your normal.
Yeah.
But, you know, I
That's
think
crazy.
that when you put it in a perspective of, yeah, I'm doing all this stuff because, I mean, worst come to worst, John will be able to take care of me for the rest of his life because that was his plan. It was for sickness or health. And it's selfish.
Well, I wasn't happy about that at all. Like now, I feel like I'm in a place where I can literally mean that,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't there. You know, those vows. There's something that's one of those things where you just like, I don't remember them vows.
I don't either.
I do remember the vows I said to you. I don't know it verbatim, but I know the gist of what I said to you when we got married at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
But what they say in the court and those words, like, I understand some of the parts, but I wasn't mature enough to be able to mean that. Like now I can, because I understand more. Before it was just, you know, logistically we need to be married. It wasn't like the fairy tale thing. It was just like paperwork, because I knew how I felt about you. But now looking back, I'm glad we did it, because I was really ignorant, and it was just for really to make you happy.
You know, I have a younger cousin that told me she met this guy and she's really, really like pushing to be married. And she's like, any guy I talk to, I'm letting him know that I want to be married. And she met this guy, and the guy was like, we can get married. To me, it's just a piece of paper. But if you want to get married, you know, I don't ever really care if I get married or not, because to me it's just paper. And she was really put off by that. And when she talked to me about it, I said, you know, I remember John said that. John was like, we don't ever need to get married. He's like, because what, like, you're going to get everything from me that no one else will get. And like, we had already had a mortgage. We already had a child. We were already sharing. Like, we were living the life, all of the committed thing, like the heavy thing. Like, we weren't going to part easily. The marriage, the piece of paper was like that final little bit on it. But it was like, I think we were really, really young. So the weight of what marriage looks like now, we didn't foresee that. And I also think,
heck no,
you know, me having grown up and seeing the different type of marriages my mom had with my dad and my stepdad, you seeing the marriage of your parents, it gave us a false understanding of what we were walking into.
Yeah.
But I was telling her, I said, really, in the end, it was paper, because nothing changed about us after that. I think that it's not the paper or going in front of the judge. It's your intention toward the person. Now, I still wanted to have the name. I still wanted to be able to.
I understand the importance of it.
Yes. I wanted all of that stuff. But I also understood very quickly that we went back to, all right, we going back to our regularly scheduled programming, because we got to get the kids to do, get Day to be where she needs to be. And, we got to make sure the bills are paid. And, nothing changed. And I think that it's interesting that she and I had that conversation, because I was like, I can see how truthfully it really is. It's your commitment to the person. It's not the paper that somebody issued to you. Mm-hmm. But in the process of it, you are making vows to people. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't always, if they're not vows that you made for yourself, it really just flows by and be like, sickness is hell, better do all, blah, 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 richer or poorer. But the weight of all of that, nobody really pays attention to. But I do think that understanding that you owe somebody to be healthy as possible, because you are writing their ticket for the rest of their life. Like, I'm deciding for you that it's okay to have a spouse that may have, disabilities later, and you're going to have to take care of me.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. It's like, nah, I'm just be reckless and you gonna take care of me because you my husband, and that's the end of it.
I remember when I was really in my groove. I'm still in my groove as far as the way that I eat and take care of my body. But I remember when I was like, hey, you got to do a better job with taking care of your body, because I want you for the rest of my life, and I wanted to be happy, and I feel like you're going down the wrong road. You need to do this. I was like, I don't think you're being fair to me. Like, I'm going to have to be responsible for that. And I was so serious, because I was like, I'm taking care of my body so you can have the best version of me for the rest of our lives. She was like, I don't want to hear that shit. Pour my drink.
Pour my drink.
She didn't say all of that, but she definitely was like,
my face looked like it. My head probably said it, but for real, no. He used to have his moments where he would just go on this rant about how I needed to be better, and I was looking at him like, dude, this is not the time for you to be talking to me about anything. And it's my take on that was for a different reason, but I do recognize now, as we're getting older and I'm losing family and I'm losing friends. I had a friend send me a message, and she was like, I know we were supposed to go out this weekend or next weekend, but my friend just passed away and I have to go to her funeral, 36 years old, 2 children under the age of 3.
Was it health complications?
I don't know the outcome. I don't know the reason is what I meant. But what I'm saying is there are people, regardless of age, who are passing away, whether by health, which there are young friends I had when we were younger in our 30s that had chronic diseases that were diagnosed already. I've lost people to breast cancer. I've lost people to heart attack and stroke, and they're not old like when we were little and we thought people were old and they die. You know what I'm saying? It's like my cohort, my and now it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, Kanika, my dad had his first stroke at 42 and you're 42. Your blood pressure is soaring through the open skies like a jet plane, and you just out here floating around because you don't feel the difference. But it's because it's my new normal. My body is used to having a high blood pressure. That's not okay. Mm-hmm. When your body readjusts to these outlandish numbers you have, that's not good. It's crazy because it gives you the false sense that you're okay.
Yeah.
And really, it's silently killing you. And so now I'm looking at it, and I'm not looking at my health like I got to deal with this. I got to deal with if I got to buy bigger clothes. I got to deal with. Now I'm thinking to myself, what if I can't move my left side? What if I can't speak anymore? What is my life going to be like? And how are you going to have to be my complement? You always talk about being my complement, filling in the blanks, filling in my gaps. So am I just going to knowingly put myself in danger?
Why would you feel like you're doing that? Because I feel like you're doing so much to change the behavior.
I agree, but I'm saying up until this point.
Well, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? There were a lot of times throughout our marriage where we were having discussions about health. I mean, both ways. When we were talking about drinking, and we were talking about recently more so about diet in the last few years. And I was very resistant because I was like, I don't have to listen to this. Like, what I do is what I do. But truthfully, what I do can have serious implications for the rest of your life.
Well, I didn't even really care about you thinking about what I had to do. I was thinking about what you had to do.
Yeah,
like you can't be. It's crazy that you're thinking about what I got to do versus just what you need to do.
No, and I do care about, but I think that we're more reckless with ourselves because we're like, that's not gonna happen.
But that's what I'm saying. At some point, you're gonna like it. For me, I don't think you're gonna follow through as much as you would for yourself. If you invest in yourself, to me, I feel like it's less likely for me to go through whatever you think I would go through.
I definitely agree.
Oh.
But what I'm saying is that I'm like, when I had to think about, I don't think about myself being disabled. I think of myself as I make decisions for myself and I'm perfectly fine. But when I had to put in mind being how I impact, not only when I'm thinking about it, I'm saying, wow, like I could live my last 20 years of my life not being able to speak to my kids, not being able to move, or you know what I'm saying?
I would be hurt.
Yeah, and then I have to look. And then, Kanika, on top of that, you're sentencing John to 20 years of having to fill in those gaps. Like, not only are you reckless, but you're selfish. Like, you're reckless with yourself as if you're the only one that has to live with your consequences. And when you sit here and you think about yourself, we always think that it's not going to be us. But then on top of that, how does it impact? And then not even you. Like, what does that do for Day in Dallas? What if they have to take care of me? And it was because of me. I don't. But I don't want that.
But I think about it like this. I'm like, if your mother didn't figure it out, one of y'all probably not gonna figure it out.
And that's true too.
And they could end up in a continuing that part of whatever. But like I said, I'm glad you're more conscious of it, and I'm glad that you are considering other people also. So I feel like the process has started, and it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and I know that usually people who have behavior changes, it requires an internal motivation, not I'm motivated just so I can save all of y'all the trouble. People change their behaviors the most when there's an inner or an intrinsic motivation where it's within them that they want it, not just how it's going to impact others or how somebody else wants it for me. So I don't want to be confused by saying that. I'm just saying it add a little razzle to my dazzle when I was sitting there thinking about, wow, I could end up like this or like that. What's going to happen next? How is that going to impact everybody else? I never think of how it's going to impact everybody else. If the worst happened, what's going to happen with everyone else? Because I'm not going to be able to do nothing about it. It's over. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
And it's not just, you pass away and somebody has to deal with it. Sometimes you don't pass away, but you are at a point where the quality of your life is not in your hands anymore. And so it brings me back to thinking like that was never a conversation I thought to have. Even when we started talking, I think we talked maybe in June or ways back, we were having a conversation about what are the important conversations or questions you should ask. Maybe it was earlier than that. And we were like, oh, you need to talk about mental health and you need to talk about, your expectations as far as parenting and sex. Also, how do you plan on, like, what are you willing to do in order to stay healthy for the rest of your life? Like, that's not a conversation that anybody has.
Yeah, it isn't. But a lot of people don't have those answers.
Yeah.
Like to me, I feel like I have the answers because I'm doing it. And you know, when you say these things in moderation, like when I hear you say it, you sound like everybody else. Nobody knows what moderation is.
No, they don't.
And I'm gonna tell you why I don't know what moderation is, but I do know that I know it better than a lot of people around me. Because when I was originally gave up meat, bread, all of these things, like I was kind of like just starting from scratch, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And I remember I dropped my weight, and before I left from Abu Dhabi, I was like, okay, I think I got this thing. And I was eating things that I was like, well, I don't eat this that often, but I was eating it often enough for the weight to increase.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So now where I am, come to this point, like I realized that I can have fun with you guys. Like we had ice cream yesterday and I didn't eat it all.
Yeah.
Like even when we have desserts, like we have like a 2 cookie max.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's not often, but it's often enough to say that we do it.
Yeah.
And we're able to try new things that may not be the healthiest, but we don't eat it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I feel like those are the memories, and like we did that, but you know, it's not one of those things where we like, oh, we got to go back, we got to get in. So to me, I feel like we're doing it.
You know, the other thing we're starting to do now, when we go out to eat with the kids or even ourselves, we rate the meal we had on a scale of 1 to 5, so people can start like. And then if it's like a 3 average with the family, we'd be like, we don't have to eat that again.
And I just want y'all to know, a 3 doesn't mean it's not good. It just says that we don't need it again.
Yeah.
Like we just went to a restaurant. I don't want to say the name because they're not paying us. But nobody is paying us, by the way.
True.
But the meal that I had was pretty good. But I gave it a 3, you know, because it wasn't healthy for you. And it wasn't good enough for me to say I'm willing to endanger my health again.
Well, with me, I don't be thinking about endangering my health. I just think about like there are things that I've eaten that I was like, oh my God, I have to go back. And there are things that I was like, oh, that was good. But I don't have to go back.
But I don't have anything that I have to go back to. Like I haven't gotten to that point, like that I can think of right now. But I will say that there are a lot of healthy restaurants that I don't mind going back at all because I know that they're healthy. But the ones that supposedly delicious, the food that's delicious, like I haven't said, you know what, I need to go back to that one so that I can have that taste. Like I haven't gotten to that. I haven't found the restaurant. Well, you know what? I will say this, and I'm going to shout them out because they're black owned anyway. Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle.
Oh.
Like when we experienced that in thinking 08.
We kept going back.
Yeah, we did. And you know, like it was just a different taste. It was like, oh my gosh, this is really good.
Yeah.
And I know that's not good for you. But when we go back to LA, we're going to go there because I want my kids to experience what we felt in 08.
That was good.
And I went back, I think in 2012 for when I went to the Rose Bowl. And I was like, it's still delicious.
Did I say the other one that I won't ever mind going back to? Slutty Vegan.
Oh yeah, and that's not. I don't even think that's good for you.
I don't either.
Yeah,
first of all, it's so good. I know it can't be good for you, even the bacon. But when we went, I had a little bit. When I first had it, it was when she had a Max. It was a 2-burger Max you could purchase, and the lines were super hella long. And one of our friends, she went and she got 2 of them, and my girl cut them into quarters so each of us could just taste it, right? And I was like, oh, this is really, really good. So when we go back, when we were in Atlanta, I was like, oh, this is really good. Now, I would go back to that.
Yeah. But
it has to be memorable to me. Like, there are other places we've gone that I was like, oh, that was good, but I don't have to go back there. And I think that more and more we're starting to acknowledge that we like our food at home more. Like, if you rate it, I'm like, if I'm going to have a 3 going out, or I'm going to eat something at home, there are things that I can finagle myself to make it a 5 or a 4 at home. I'd rather eat at home. So it's kind of better. Like there was one restaurant that I used to go to as a kid, and I couldn't wait for them to take them there. And when we went there, I was like, that wasn't even really.
Oh yeah, you did.
You know what I'm
There
saying?
was been a few restaurants you like this.
Yeah, I was like, So what it ended up being is me understanding that I don't necessarily, I don't have to spend that money again. Like, I'm straight. It's cool. So that type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to shout you out on becoming more aware of your health and the things that you're doing to improve it.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to going back to LA and Atlanta to go to those restaurants. But I would like the kids to participate too. But they were delicious.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed this conversation because I feel like you're going to eventually be the example in your group of people. They're going to like look at you. Like, I've seen people, they be working out, but they our age, their bones is going to break down. They're going to be like, the scan in the body. Like, I just feel like they don't understand, like another 5 years, they're going to be like, they're going to be in a bed and they got to get out of the bed and it's going to hurt. And a 44-year-old version of looking like that you are really healthy and you're active, by the age of 49, 50, you're going to be like, why did I do all, what did I get?
But I don't know, because I feel like it's the whole thing of you use it or you lose it. I feel like if your joints and your body are used to moving and having this resistance and stuff, it's different than somebody who's just laying around.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you're that active and it has nothing to do with your career in life, it doesn't make you, it's extracurricular activity. You're still breaking your body down.
I think it's more of if you're doing things that are overtaxing to your body.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't know what overtaxing is. And I don't either.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I wanted to be a professional athlete, and none of them after the age of 40 feels good when they wake up. Now I got 40-year-old people that are working out like they're 20.
Yeah.
So to me, like, it's going to catch up. And I'll tell you this. I'm comfortable with my walk every day with you. 3 times a day. Like, I look forward to it because I get so much out of it, and it's no wear and tear on the body. My body weight stays the same for the most part. So I'm like, why would I want to tear a ligament or twist an ankle because I think I'm still 20? And, we don't heal the same anymore. Yeah. And most people don't even eat well, so their body don't recover the way that it needs to.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying we have to be more responsible when it comes to the activity that we're doing, because you do look good now. But at 50, you're going to look good in a bed.
Shut up. Okay.
No, I'm just saying, like, they don't think about that.
Figure out what works best for you.
No, I did not say that. That's what she said. I'm telling you that does not work best for you.
No, I'm saying whatever level of exercise.
Walking.
Do that. Water aerobics, save your joints, I guess.
Look, I'll be watching these people run by us. They look like they hurting. They be like the older people, and the way that they run,
old people running in our neighborhood.
And I just feel like they're doing that so that it doesn't hurt then. When they go home, it's gonna hurt. That's the only time it don't hurt is when they running.
You stupid.
No, but anybody you want to give a shout out before we get out of here?
No, nothing. Nobody today. You?
I want to give a shout out to all our loyal listeners that's watched us grow. I really do appreciate you guys. I want to give a shout out to my podcast, Growing Man. Growing Man is doing really well on TikTok and Facebook. I've been uploading it on the Reels, and apparently people like to hear what I got to say. So if you get a chance, go check me out, Growing Man, GrowNMan. Growing Man. You can find me on YouTube or our website, www.lewissquad.com, 1S, Growing Man. Yes, I'm telling you, I'm going to do this for the remainder of my life. And when I get really good, people are going to pay me, and I'm going to take care of my family financially and live abundantly in my home. Y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. Be great on purpose. Boom.